Covering all of Southwest, Southside, and Central Virginia, WSLS 10 News at 7 starts right now.
This world is full of men like Roger Johns. This world would be a better place.
Now at 7, honoring a local hero, dozens paid tribute to a volunteer firefighter who was killed on the job.
A march in solidarity, the walk underway in the Star City right now following a rise in violent crime.
We're continuing to follow the latest developments out of Manchester after the deadly concert attack. What we know tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Ward.
And I'm Dawn Jeffries. The Roanoke Valley comes together to say goodbye to a firefighter killed on the job last Friday.
Roger Johns was a member of the Eagle Rock Volunteer Fire Department who many say will truly be missed. WSLS 10's Irisha Jones was in Buchanan, where people came from all over Southwest Virginia for the firefighter's funeral.
Fire departments from all over Virginia, including Roanoke, Wytheville, and Lexington, came here today at James River High School to pay tribute to their fallen friend. A gymnasium full of his peers. Roger Johns won't be forgotten anytime soon. The way he lived his life is leaving a lasting impact on others. With his full firefighter uniform on display and his coffin draped with the American flag, those closest to him says he's put his country and his community before himself.
His priorities were always placed first in the needs of others. His strength helped others by his presence. He knew the names and faces of all those around him.
The 63-year-old served in the Marine Corps for 8 years and served his community for 43 years. Even until he died, he was helping others in harm's way as part of the Eagle Rock Volunteer Fire Department. Other fire departments stepped in to help the Eagle Rock Volunteer Fire Department take calls while they were here at the funeral service. In Botetourt County, Irisha Jones, WSLS 10.
People come together to remember a man killed in his own home. A candlelight vigil began about an hour ago for 68-year-old Haywood Carter. He and his wife were shot in their Danville home May 13th. His wife survived. Police say it was a home invasion, but have not released details about a possible motive. A city councilman says he knew Carter and both took part in the civil rights movement in Danville as teens. He says the crowd at Carter's funeral last weekend shows the impact he had on the city.
Some people bought their own chairs so they could sit even in the foyer, on the porch, or in the yard. They just wanted to be there.
We'll hear from others who paid their respects tonight at 11.
A rise in violent crime this year has inspired Roanoke City Council to invite people to march in solidarity. Now that march is leading people through Northwest Roanoke right now. WSLS 10's Rob Manch has more from St. Paul's Methodist Church.
This is the spot where the March in Solidarity began tonight here at the St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Roanoke. The marchers will be walking past at least one site where a homicide was committed this year in Roanoke. Mayor Sherman Lee says city councilors wanted to walk directly through the areas most affected by violence to show the people who live there that they're not forgotten and the city does care.
Violence is not the way we can overcome violence, and I want to ask them to be willing to commit almost to a pledge of at least let's go 60 days starting in June 1st without any violence.
According to the Roanoke Police Department, violent crime does tend to go up in the summer months, which is why Lee says it's important to do this march now. And coming up tonight on WSLS 10 at 11, we'll speak with some people who are walking tonight about their experiences in this community and what they'd like to see change in the future. In Roanoke, Rob Manch, WSLS 10.
A local veteran and hundreds more like him are at risk of losing much needed eye care because the doctors who manage their care aren't getting paid. Vistar Eye Center sent letters to hundreds of veterans it sees under the Veterans Choice program, saying it may no longer be able to see them under that program. It was put in place to improve veterans' access to health care by allowing them to see various providers outside of the VA, but now, as we mentioned, that care is at risk.
We've seen payment lags of 6 to 9 months. We still have claims from as old as September that have not been paid.
What's normal?
Most insurance companies now pay, Medicare for example, now pays within 2 weeks or so.
So it's a big gap.
It's a huge gap.
HealthNet, the company that administers the program and is responsible for reimbursing doctors, says It's made improvements, but recognizes there is more to do. Turning now to your forecast. The rain, it's going to continue tonight. It's been kind of nice out today. I don't want it to come back, Jonathan.
Yeah, I know. It's been awesome in the afternoon, but it's dreary across much of the area now. Had some heavier thunderstorms across Southside this afternoon. We have a few showers pushing through Roanoke, and you see it there in Blacksburg with a live look with our Virginia Tech Skycam. This is just getting old. We have clouds, we have the showers, temperatures back into the middle 50s, dew points in the lower 50s. We do finally have sunshine coming back tomorrow before more storm chances return on Saturday. Live look with our satellite and radar picture. Again, some nice downpours going on in and around Danville right now. Much of Pittsylvania County seeing the rain as well. A few lingering showers through Blacksburg. A couple of very, very light sprinkles moving through the Roanoke Valley right now. Temperature-wise, all over the place. Mid-50s in Blacksburg again, 60 in Roanoke, 64 in Smith Mountain Lake, closer to the 70s in South Boston right now. Tomorrow is going to be the nicest day of the next couple of days as storm chances return. We'll break down that holiday weekend forecast for you coming up in a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Jonathan. A local brewery is aiming to make a national name for itself. Parkway Brewing in Salem announced today it will invest $750,000, essentially doubling its production. The brewing company will go from producing 7,000 barrels of beer to 14,000 barrels to keep up with its growing national demand. Because the brewery uses mostly Virginia-grown products, it was awarded $300,000 in grant money from the state and the city of Salem.
I've been in the brewing business for 15 years now, and been here for a year and a half, and this is the fastest growing brewery I've ever seen.
Ready? Construction could begin at the brewery at the end of this summer. More than 100 people will soon be out of a job. LCS Communications is letting go of employees in Roanoke County. WSLS 10 spoke to an employee who's been with the company for 10 years. She says a corporate representative met with workers this week to let them know about the layoffs. She also says she was offered a 9-week severance package, and the company will send employees to job fairs to help them find another job.
We've been together more than we have with our own family. The company is a good company. It's nothing that they did wrong. It's nothing we did wrong. It's just everything's going on computers now, all books, school books, everything.
LCS Communications provides marketing and business communication plans, commercial printing, and other related services. The company employs more than 40,000 worldwide. There's also a location in Lynchburg.
British police arrest 2 more people today and searched a new site in Manchester suspected of links to Monday's bombing that killed 22 people at an Ariana Grande concert. NBC's Kelly Kobiea reports.
8 people are now under arrest in connection with this bombing. The Greater Manchester Police Chief confirming that all 8 are men and also saying that these arrests are, quote, significant.
And initial searches of premises have revealed items that we believe are very important to the investigation.
He also said that searches continue at several properties in and around Greater Manchester and beyond. He said that evidence and other items recovered in some of these searches are, quote, important, and that the searches will take several days to complete. The picture of Salman al-Baidi, the suspected bomber's movements in the days leading up to this attack, now becoming a little bit more clear. Our German news partners ZDF are reporting today, citing intelligence sources, that al-Baidi traveled through Germany just 4 days before the attack last week, traveling from Istanbul to Dusseldorf and then on to the UK. But the big missing piece here still, as far as we're aware, is the suspected bomb-making lab or bomb maker. No announcement that any of the suspects along those lines have been taken into custody as yet. And the British Prime Minister Theresa May saying again today that this country will remain at a critical threat level for now, meaning an attack is possibly imminent. Kelly Kobiea, NBC News, Manchester.
President Donald Trump gives his first ever speech at NATO headquarters. During his address, the president called out some allies for not paying their share. Just 5 of the 28 NATO member countries are paying the required 2% of GDP towards defense.
23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States.
Meanwhile, British officials are calling on the president to stop information from leaking. This after detailed information about the Manchester terror attack broke after it was shared with U.S. law enforcement. President Trump is ordering the Justice Department to investigate the source of those leaks.
Freshening things up, the changes you could see for the 6/11 excursions.
And our upper low pinwheeling over us now, giving us more showers and thunderstorms. Behind it, though, clear real estate moves in. We'll break down that forecast. A dozen more storms in the picture for the holiday weekend coming up.
It can be a long road for those forced into homelessness to get back on their feet. An expansion at the Roanoke Rescue Mission aims to make that transition happen sooner. 2 new day resource centers are now open at the mission's campus on 4th Street. The men and women's centers provide a place for those facing homelessness to spend the day instead of out on the streets. The centers are equipped with charging stations, storage lockers, and closets. There are also resources available to help find a job.
In both of these resource centers, we're excited because we're able to provide computer workstations for our guests, and that will allow them to do housing searches and job searches and fill out those online applications with the assistance of case managers who will be right here on site.
The men's shelter now features a laundry station. The Women and Children's Center also has a space for kids to watch educational videos.
The 611 is recognized as the official steam locomotive of Virginia, and now we're learning changes could be in store for future excursions. The designation is credited in part to the popularity of the Steam Queen's excursions. The Virginia Museum of Transportation is pushing to freshen up those routes after a slight decline in interest this year. Amtrak, new rail service coming to the area, could provide the answer.
Norfolk Southern has had us working in Virginia and North Carolina, and we think that the market right now for that has played out. There's just not a lot of people that are going to ride anymore that haven't already ridden. So we're now talking to Amtrak about broadening that base to see if we can go a lot of other places.
Virginia's Blue Ridge estimates the economic impact of the 611 excursions to be at least $4 million. Wow. Now look ahead to stories that will make headlines tomorrow.
A new ice cream shop celebrates its grand opening when you can get some free ice cream. Plus, some of the events happening around town this holiday weekend. Plan your day with Virginia Today from 5 to 7 a.m. right here on WSLS 10.